It's so awesome to see a platform like St. Louis Moms Blog exist because it brings moms together. We are a community. Motherhood is so difficult and we need one another. We need the support of one another. We need to be able to laugh with one another and cry with one another. So on this week's episode, we dive a little bit deeper into what St. Louis Moms Blog is all about and what it can offer you with the owner and founder, Rebekah Coste. Blondin Professional Real Estate is a family-owned, boutique-style brokerage with over 40 years' experience serving the counties that surround St. Louis. See how their approach to real estate will help you by visiting blondinrealestate.com. What happens when you put a career-focused woman with 2 kids trying to balance home and work life in a room with a microphone? Lots of laughter, tears, and great advice. I'm Jill Devine, and welcome to 2 Kids and a Career. This week's guest is in charge of a lot of moms. Is that right, Rebekah? Are you in charge of a lot of moms?
I'm not, I wouldn't say in charge. Maybe the ringleader.
Okay, the ringleader of a lot of moms. Joining me, Rebekah Coste. She is part of this amazing group that I don't know a ton about, and that's why I reached out to you. St. Louis Moms Blog, you are the founder, you are the owner. I started following on Instagram, and then I just said, why am I following you and talking to you through comments and whatnot? I need you in on the podcast. And you agreed to come on. And this is your first podcast.
Yes, thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. I'm so excited to be the first podcast for you and to talk all things mom. Let's start with you, Rebekah. Let's start with your background and mom life and go from there.
Sure. Well, I'm a St. Louis girl, born and raised.
Okay, you know the question. Where did you go to high school?
Yes, I'm a North County girl. So
okay.
Hazelwood West.
Hazelwood West. Yes. I went to Francis Howe, also born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah, so
great.
There we go. We got that out of the way.
So I studied journalism at Mizzou.
Okay.
And then came back to St. Louis.
Okay.
And started working in corporate communications after graduation.
Can you talk about who that was? Yeah, you can.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I worked at Express Scripts.
Okay.
So I worked there for 5 years, and it was a great experience. I really have nothing to say. It was, as corporate as it gets, and a lot of deadlines, a lot of hard work, a lot of hours, a lot of, juggling multiple things, but I learned so much, and I just felt like I really kind of grew up there,
All right, so then what happened? Because you're obviously not with Express Scripts anymore.
Right. Well, after about 5 years, I started to get a little bit antsy because, I was single. I didn't have any kids. I didn't have car payment, didn't have a mortgage. I said, what am I doing? And I knew, I studied French as well.
Okay.
In college. And one of my professors told me about this program where you can go overseas and teach English in a French high school.
Like English as a second language kind of situation?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, sure thing. Mm-hmm. And you get paid peanuts to do it, but it's a great experience. You can travel around, you can work on the language yourself, So I just kind of, that little voice started speaking to me and said, you got to go do this because, time may run out and this is your chance to do it.
Yeah, because you were single, which that always helps things. And
mobile.
Right. And it didn't have a mortgage.
Right.
That always helps things too.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go. How long were you there?
So I signed a contract to work there for the school year.
Okay.
So I moved in September and then, was slated to stay through, I think it was May.
Okay.
May of the following year.
And you stayed?
Well, what happened was that I ended up meeting the man who's now my husband, and we, met and got married there. And
what? So you met your husband in Paris?
In Paris, yeah.
Is he from the United States?
No, he is as Parisian as they come.
Shut up. And you got him to come back to St. Louis?
I know. That's what everyone says.
This is amazing. That's why I love to have these natural, organic conversations. Like, this is so great. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Tell me how you snagged him. What's his name?
Well, his name's Jean-Christophe, born and raised in the southern portion of Paris. So kind of the more residential. Not when you think of all the museums and the Eiffel Tower and kind of the heart of the city, but more on the southern part of the city. And he was working as a manager in a restaurant. And I walked in with a friend one night, and we were talking about how hard it was to make French friends. And we were lonely, wanted to go back to the States. And we just all started chatting. And we said we should do like a language swap, but not like, quote, language swap. I mean, it was legitimate. We wanted to work on our French.
Code word for anything?
No. We wanted to work on our French, and he wanted to work on his English. And so that's how it all started.
Okay, so you start dating, and how much time is left before you come home?
It was pretty fast. So I would say maybe about 2 months before I had to come home.
I mean, did you think that this was going to be your husband, or were you, oh my gosh, come on, give me the scoop.
I don't know. I think there was something about him immediately that I was very drawn to, and I knew I'm probably not going to get out of this very easily, Wow. So I think there was something in me that knew, after having dated in the U.S. and just guys who were awesome, but it just, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't that firework or that spark you were looking for. But with him, it just kind of was like, wow. And
so when did he move here?
Well, so I ended up coming back to the States because my visa was over, but I had ironically renewed my teaching contract for a second year a week before I met him, which you can call it fate, you can call it whatever you want, divine intervention, but yeah.
And he was totally fine with leaving Paris, coming here?
He is a great sport about it. He really is. If you ask him, the first thing he says is the food, that it's just not the same,
I've never been to Paris, but I could probably agree with him. I mean, I just have this feeling.
I don't know, though. I think St. Louis has great food.
Well, we do have great food. I think I'm thinking, fresh,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay.
Not as many markets, and you get off the metro, and there's, a fresh fruit market right there. And
we do. It is something I have talked about in previous episodes. We have so many great restaurants, and even I am guilty of not taking advantage of all of them. But anyway, okay.
For sure. No, for sure. Yep.
So then, do you go back to Paris a lot?
We have not been back. Well, to answer your question, so we got married, and then our first daughter was born there in Paris.
Okay.
And so before she was born, we started the journey to get his green card.
Okay.
Because sadly, both of his parents are deceased, and so my parents live here. And so we just said, as much as we'd love to stay in Paris, and it would be kind of, really cool to raise our kids here, that ultimately it just made sense for us to be near grandparents. So... yeah.
Okay, so how long ago was this?
This was in 2016.
So not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
So how old's your daughter?
So we have a 3-year-old, the one who was born there, and then we have a little 10-month-old.
We have the same babies. Did you know that?
No.
We have this. Okay, when's her birthday?
She's October.
We're September.
Okay.
And now the second boy or a girl?
The second is a girl.
Okay, girl.
What girl?
Can't do the math right now. January, February?
January.
Okay, December.
No way.
Rebekah, all of this fate stuff is happening to you and me. Oh my goodness. We have so much to talk about. Okay, so you haven't been back. No. Obviously, you're going to go back at some point, especially with the girls.
Yeah.
Tell me the girls' names.
So Hannah is our oldest, and then Eloise is the one that was born in January.
You, as I said at the beginning, are the founder and the owner of St. Louis Moms Blog. Obviously, you guys came back. How did this all happen?
Sure. Well, one of my family members is actually a part of what's called the City Mom Collective, which is our parent network.
Okay.
So there are sites like St. Louis Moms Blog all across the nation doing what we're doing.
Okay.
We have over 100 sister sites right now. And this particular family member told me, she said, you should really look into this because I get to work flexible hours. I get to, meet all kinds of awesome moms in my area. I get to be home with my kids, and it's brought a lot of meaning to my life. And she's like, I'm pretty sure St. Louis doesn't have one. And it's interesting because as we were moving back, I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do? Am I going to go back to work full time? Am I going to try to do part-time work? Because my heart was to be at home with the girls as much as I could be.
When did this first launch?
Sure. So, I met my founding co-owner who we met in a mom's group. And because at the time I was really interested to do this, but I wasn't, sure if I could do it by myself, but I really wanted to do it. And so the woman who was my founding co-owner approached me and said, hey, I think I'm your gal. And so we launched it together last June. So it's been a year and a half. And she and I have recently she has recently stepped out of ownership to be full-time mom. She's an amazing gal, foster mom, 3 foster kids. So,
we'll have to have her on.
Yes.
That's a whole nother episode that I definitely want to tackle.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what is it all about? What is the blog? Its mission? Obviously, I know it's a St. Louis Moms blog. Mm-hmm. We're here to help moms together, but there's more to it.
Yeah. So ultimately, for me, it's about that we have 35 moms that write for us right now.
Really?
Yeah. Moms from all over the area, moms from vastly different walks of motherhood. We've got foster moms, adoptive moms. We've got moms who have one child, moms who have multiples, moms who've lost babies, moms who've miscarried, moms who are struggling to conceive, business owner moms who are just out there rocking it, fitness moms. We single moms, married moms, all different, races and religions, and we just kind of the gamut.
So that if someone has questions, they could easily just turn to the blog and just try to get someone to connect with. Mm-hmm. How do you become a writer?
So when we originally launched, we put out an all-call on social media and said, hey, are you interested to come write for us? And so we launched with about 25 moms at the beginning.
Okay.
And then, there's a little bit of turnover as life changes, your situation changes. And so we did another contributor all-call this year, in January. And that was an overwhelming response because I think, people knew a little bit more about who we were. And there's just no way we could pick everybody because there's only 30 days, 31 days in a month.
Yes.
So
I wish there were more sometimes.
Right. But yeah. And, we like to make the group, we try to foster community. We try to do fun things together. So, we try to keep it as a manageable number, but, we're always looking to grow. And
okay. So I want to go back to the original. Would it be the original founder, I guess? Was that the... Okay. So what's the model? And is it just because they want different cities to have this representation? I guess walk me through that.
Well, I think first of all, it's important. We don't always consider ourselves to be a blog. I think we are really trying to position ourselves as a parenting resource and a parenting website. Because, we obviously putting out online content is a huge part of what we do. That's kind of the bread and butter is our website, but we're putting together events. We are, we're trying to do as much as we can to publish resource guides and be on social media. So, so much of what we do now is we're really trying to get people even kind of away from their phones too.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one. So, so the idea was that, the original model was hearing from lots of moms because I think, kind of moving away from the blogging model is to give voice to a lot of moms versus just the voice of one mom, which I think is awesome. I follow a ton of local bloggers and gals all across the nation, right? I think that meets such a unique need. But I think also on the flip side is that with what we're doing, you get a lot of different points of view.
And it's your community. It's in your backyard. You want to be able to, if need be, meet up with those moms find a friend, get a babysitter,
Right.
resources like that.
For sure. Yep.
What is the website?
Sure. It's stlouis.citymomsblog.com.
All right. Let's talk about what you have seen in the almost 2 years that you've been doing this. Some of the things that really kind of hit home with you, or maybe you didn't realize even as a mom, because with this podcast, there are so many things that I write down and I keep a tally. Like, these are the thoughts that I'm feeling. I wonder if anybody else is feeling this, or other people will come to me and say, I'm feeling this. Do you have anybody that would be a great guest to come on? And that's what I want to do, is just have these conversations so that you're not alone. And there are some things that I feel like in every single episode I learn something new. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think about that? So could you think of a couple that maybe you would like to share?
Sure. Well, it was such a learning curve for me to move back to St. Louis, because when I left here, I was single and not a mom. And then when I moved back, I had now 2 people in tow, that didn't know the city. So I really had to kind of relearn how to live here as a mom, not as a single gal kind of bopping around town.
Right.
So that for me was a huge learning curve. And this, St. Louis Moms blog has been a huge catalyst for me to better understand this city, and it's really given me a much deeper love for St. Louis, to see just all that we offer here to families. And I think a huge takeaway for me, and this drum, I'll just beat it every day, is our contributing writer team. I mean, so once a month they turn in a blog post, right, that gets edited and then pushed out for publication. And every month it's like a treasure trove, of their stories. And just the things that our team has walked through in the past year and a half since we've launched. I mean, like I mentioned, like moms who've lost babies, who've struggled to conceive, moms who've gone through cancer, moms who've had sick children. I mean, it's just the strength of these women, and moms who are building businesses while they're momming. I mean, it's just the strength of this group is just, it blows my mind. And I mean, I just feel like that's the epitome of the motherhood experience, is that, we rise, moms adapt. We rise to the occasion when, it seems like the odds are against us. And so I've seen that with this group, and, it's just been such an encouragement to me in motherhood.
It's just a crazy connection, this thing called motherhood.
Yeah. It's the universal equalizer. When you think of other moms who, 5:30, everybody must be going bonkers at their house because it's, it's dinner time and food's not ready, or, it's bath time and everybody's ready to go to bed. And, I just think of, this universal sisterhood of mothers who are out there all in the trenches.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny, because this morning I was thinking, mornings are tough, and my husband's not there in the morning, and they're both crying because they both want me, and I'm like, I gotta get ready.
Right.
If I don't get ready, we don't get out the door. And so then I'm taking deep breaths, and then I'm saying to myself, they just want you. And then I start to get sad because they're crying. Right. Oh my God. Right. And so in the car, this is no joke, in the car, I mean, and you can relate because you have the same ages. I said, girls, can I talk to you? And the oldest Lou, she goes, yeah. And then the youngest Charlie, she's like, I was like, okay, I'm still going to talk. So I was positioning it because a lot of times right now, I don't know if you do this, but it almost seems like I only have one child, only because I talk about Lou so much because the things that we are doing together. But anyway, so I'm talking to both of them. It's like, I need to let you girls know that Mommy really wants to hold both of you in the morning, and it makes me sad when you cry, and that's why I ask if there's something wrong, please tell me. And it's not that I don't want to, I'm having a full-blown conversation, and I guarantee both of them are just like, what in the hell is she talking about?
Right, but get on with it.
I had to say out loud, like, I love you girls, and me choosing not to pick you up, it's hard.
Yes. Well, and I think that's like in those silent moments, when everybody's not melting down, that I feel like it is really important to have those conversations with our kids. And I'm almost betting that they they pick up more than we know,
I think so too, because I had conversations with in other episodes. I don't even know how it even got brought up. I'm like, what? I don't want to have the birds and the bees talk, but I want to be more open with my girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been told, just start talking to them about it now. I'm like, well, how do you do that? They're like, you'll figure it out. And I'm like, how am I going to figure it out?
Yes.
But I did see recently one of the girls' teachers, she had posted something on Facebook about the importance of talking to your kids just on an everyday basis because of their vocabulary. And I made a comment to her. I said, you don't have to insert any jokes here because you know how much I talk and then how much the oldest talks. And she just kind of did a little smiley face back like, yeah, but that expands their vocabulary and they know. So we're always talking. It's just... I got to figure out how you navigate some of those tough combos.
Yeah, it is not easy. One of my favorite books is called Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. And she talks about one of her kids was writing a book report about birds, and he just kind of slumped at the table and like super defeated, like, how am I going to get this done? And that's the title of the book. And she comes up and she's like, buddy, you just take it bird by bird, bird by bird. And so that's the idea of the book, and it's also like a kind of a writing coach, for people who are learning to write. And I think about that a lot with my girls. I'm like, okay, we're just going to take it bird by bird, day by day, moment by moment. And I think that's all we can do as moms, is just,
What are your feelings? What are you struggling with right now with the two little ones?
Well, my 3-year-old is, she's pretty headstrong. And, I had a timeline for when I thought the potty training would occur, and it has not. So,
girl, there's a reason why you're here. Same.
So I'm just trying to back off, and it's really hard. It's hard when you have an expectation and your child doesn't meet it. And it's like, well, whose problem is that? Is that her problem or is that my problem,
Yeah. And it's neither.
Right.
With some friends of yours, I don't know how this is what I'm struggling with, is that and I've said it several times, I'm the late bloomer. I got married last. I had my kids last. So most of my friends, their kids are in elementary school or even middle school. And so I think they love that I have two little ones. They can get that love again. And I think they do really, truly remember how chaotic it was. But then I also think they could forget too.
Sure.
And so that's where I'm kind of struggling, is just, I'm lucky if I can remember how to get home.
Right.
I mean, I feel like I am so lost in my, I keep saying, I feel like I'm in the weeds.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like I'm on top of everything.
No.
And that's kind of been the hard part for me, is just because I don't want to fast forward things.
No.
But there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, it'd be so great if you were peeing on the potty, or it'd be great if you were walking and grabbing breakfast for yourself. So that's just kind of where I'm bird by bird.
Right. Well, and I think that this is not a new, experience. I think that pull, of these young years they're just so dizzying and just exhausting. And you just feel like your brain power is being sucked out of your ears. You're like, I don't even know if I brushed my teeth this morning. Did I do that? I don't remember. I feel like we can, but then they go to sleep. And you go in and you look at them and you're like, oh, they're so sweet and little. And I will never get these days back. And it is that tug and pull of like missing who you were before, loving who they are now, but who they will also be later. And it's a complex thing. It's hard.
It's so complex.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, do you always feel like my brain is exploding?
Yes.
With all the emotions. Like I said this morning, like, I'm frustrated because you're crying and you're latching onto my leg, and I'm like, I just named my coffee, and then I feel guilty because I thought that.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody
You're not alone. You're not alone.
Nobody can prepare you for that.
No.
Not at all. Well, okay. Last minute advice that you want to give to moms, or even anything else that you want to talk about with the St. Louis Moms blog, which I'm going to say right now, I would love, if it's possible, for you to come back with some of the writers.
Absolutely.
We do like a little round table of that. Okay. So that is on tape, just so you know,
Did you
Rebekah.
hear that, ladies? Did you hear that, everybody out there? You're up next.
You are definitely coming on. But last minute things that you want to talk about as the solo guest.
Sure. Well, give us a follow. We would love to connect with you on social media.
Tell me about all the social medias.
Sure. Well, we have our website, so stlouis.citymomsblog.com. And then we are on Instagram, STL Moms Blog, and St. Louis Moms Blog on Facebook. So you can find us there. And we've got some fun events coming up. So yeah, you can connect with us there. And also check out the website. We have a ton of resource guides out there. So things, navigating mom life in St. Louis. But I think biggest takeaway in all of this is that, this city is filled with amazing moms. Every city is filled with amazing moms, but I have really loved getting to know just kind of a sampling of our moms here. I'm just amazed by the moms who are doing so many things today,
Yeah.
They're just juggling it all. And this city is so talented and there's so much here.
Well, thank you for actually putting this in our city and having this happen and making it a resource for moms, because we need all the help we can get. We're always Googling stuff. So it'd be great to just keep Googling those things and have it be local. Yeah. And you know what? I'm a sucker for a good love story. So I'm glad that you came in and I got to hear your love story. You hear Paris and you're automatically like, oh, love.
Right. Oh, but let me tell you, it's real life. It is real life every day.
You're probably thinking in your head, yep, keep thinking that, Jill. Keep thinking that. He's lucky he has an accent, right?
That's right. He's lucky he can cook, because
otherwise it'd be a different story.
That's right.
So make sure you give Rebekah a follow, STL Moms Blog, stl-momsblog.com, and then also the St. Louis Moms Blog on all the social medias. And just connect, reach out, and what you might be feeling, I'm sure Rebekah has a contributor that can help out. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me for today's episode. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and if you're feeling really generous, write me a review. And don't forget to join me next week for a new episode of Two Kids and a Career.